Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there. For some reason, it was live on Channel 8, or Day 8, Episode 8, and the audio was terrible. So I fixed the audio, I changed the channel, so now I have a different channel. So I'm live on 37. I don't know how I'm live on 8. So if you're on the channel, if you're on episode 8, ditch that, I guess. I'm not sure how this is possible, that it's streaming on 2 concurrent channels, but it is. Anyway, welcome to July 7th. I don't understand YouTube, how it works sometimes. I don't even see episode 8 to be open, so I don't want to end the stream because then it'll end all the streams, I imagine. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. Anyway, this guy, this episode is number 7. That's happening Thursday at 8 p.m. So Thursday, 8 p.m., episode 7. That's the first episode in Chicago of Day Trippin', the guy in the van, me. Check that out. Thursday, 8 p.m., Day Trippin', Heinz Verified, Stephen He, and me, your guy in the van, along for the ride. Whatever my title card is this time. That is what it is on that show. So I had a little time tonight, so I actually got to do a little bit of research on things. So I found all sorts of fun facts and fun things. This day in history. Now this is a way back, but it connects. So for this day, ready? This guy. Okay, he's small. I'll see if I can make him larger. I did before. But anyway, this is Hernan Cortez, who is the guy who basically killed the Aztecs. And on this day in 1520, Hernan Cortez defeated the Aztecs. Now, the connection is that Neil Young wrote Cortez the Killer in 1975 on the Zuma release, along with Crazy Horse. And it became number 39 in all-time Guitar World songs and number 329 by Rolling Stone's Top 500 songs. Young said that he got it while learning about history in Winnipeg, Canada, growing up. In 2011, Rolling Stones criticized him for making up stories. And in like 85, there was an article about him basically saying that everyone can just go eat a dick, and he didn't care. It was just, what the heck, it's a song. I wrote about it. It's that. But yes, so there's your connection to Hernan Cortez, Neil Young writing about Cortez the Killer in 85 from a history lesson that he learned. So there's your deep history right there. Okay, also on this day, what else happened today? The Roswell, New Mexico crash. Welcome to Roswell. So conspiracies abound that, of course, there was UFOs that happened on a ranch in New Mexico on this day in 1947. This is this colonel showing pieces of this thing. They said it was a hot air balloon. It was aliens. They found bodies, they found parts, they found things that they can't explain, so forth and so on. Well, by the time we got to the 90s, Project Mogul was what they blamed it on, where we were letting out hundreds and hundreds of balloons, like the one that flew over us a couple of years ago, or a year ago or so, that we shot down. High altitude surveillance balloons with equipment that we were flying over Russia. It came out that that's pretty much most likely what it was. The conspiracies that came out of this, including the Aztec, going right back to the Aztecs, the Aztec conspiracy that came out about little gray men, which were fake. All of this stuff everything is sort of conspiracy around the Roswell incident. And at this point, it's been proven that it was just a weather balloon. There were no little gray men. It did not have an alien crash. Maybe there are aliens. Maybe they've crashed. But this, in fact, was not an alien spaceship crash. Unless they said it wasn't, and it was, and they said it was, but then it wasn't because they didn't want to talk about Project Mogul. Who knows? I wasn't there. I don't know what the cover-up is. But today was the day that happened. So what are you going to do, right? Also on this day, this is a 714 roller Quaalude, very popular back in the day. But in 1949, Dragnet premiered. Jack Webb, Sergeant Joe Friday, and his badge number was 714. Which, again, was the roller Quaalude number that came out years later. The connection being with Joe Friday is that it was supposedly the Quaalude was numbered after that show, according to me, anyway. Dragnet was the first of its kind. Just a fax, ma'am. The character who was Friday's partner went on to be Sherman Potter on MASH, the series MASH, for many years. It was a very popular show, Dragnet, back in the day. The movie was made. Dan Aykroyd and Tom Hanks starred in a remake version of Dragnet years later. But it was a very popular show, but it came out all the way back in 1949. Also on this day, in 1968, the Yardbirds dispersed. And the guy in the Yardbirds was who else but Jimmy Page. So because Jimmy Page had a bunch of concerts that he had to obligate, had them already planned, had them booked, he formed a new band and went on the road, and that band turned into Led Zeppelin. So on this date in 1968, that group formed. Now, oddly enough, in 1980, today was Led Zeppelin's last show because drummer John Bonham died in September. So inadvertently, today was the day that the band was formed and literally the last show played on the same day many years later because of the death of John Bonham back in September of that year. Very odd. Also on this day, we lost Syd Barrett. Syd Barrett, the original founding member of Pink Floyd, who wrote a couple of songs that you might now see Emily play and such. But Syd left the band, was quite psychotic, basically. He died like 85 at 60 years old. But was out of the band, had some mental health issues, became a recluse, and that was the end of that. But today was his birthday. He died in 2006, I guess. So that was good old Syd Barrett. Now, also, just because this is your basic eye bombing right here. This was not my eye bombing, but this was at the Columbus, what the heck's it called? Antique Restoration, or whatever it is. It's the warehouse that has all the old doors and things. I went there today, and this was at the checkout, and I thought it was hilarious. They had two little diamond eyes on the rock were eye bombing, which I thought was hilarious. Also, on this day, in 1977, James Bond released his 10th film, The Spy Who Loved Me. Now, that starred Roger Moore and Barbara Bach. Now, Barbara Bach is married to Ringo Starr, and his birthday is today. So happy birthday to Ringo Starr as he turns 85 today. Now, what's funny is that Joe Walsh, who used to come to the radio station all the time, he would come late night and go hang out with Andy Davis, Andy Man, back in the studio at 1721 South High Street. We don't know why. I just know that seeing Joe Walsh there was kind of weird. But he used to come into the studio and just hang out late at night. But Walsh is married to Marjorie Bach, which is Barbara Bach's sister. And when Joe Walsh came and they named Joe Walsh Way when he did that Ohio concert a couple of years ago, with Nine Inch Nails and Foo Fighters and such. She was there. So we got to meet Joe Walsh and Marjorie Bach. So I was 6 degrees of separation from Ringo Starr. There you go. Which is then 6 degrees of separation from the Beatles. I mean, that's how that works, right? 6 degrees of separation. Let's see. Here, there we go. Best episode 8 here in episode 37. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what episode 8 was. Sorry about that, Todd. That was really bizarre. Let me see if I can pop this chat out so I can see it instead of being in that little corner. Because that seems to be better when I do that. I can actually look. Pop out chat. There it is. If I pop out the chat, I can make the chat bigger, and then I can bring it to this screen here, and it's right in front of me. Ta-da! There we go. I can track 4 degrees to the Beatles. Okay, let's 4 degrees to the Beatles, says Don. I see. I guess I could do, I can do 4. So Marjorie Bach she's related to Ringo Starr, and that's right there. So yeah, that's 4 degrees separation. So Vets 8 show. Right, Vets 8 show. That was it. That was a very good show. But yes, so Barbara Bach, Marjorie Bach, Ringo Starr birthday today, 85 years old. There you go. There's your connection. There's your births and deaths of your rock and roll history. Today is National Koi Day, as in K-O-I, not K-I-A, but K-O-I. I did, in fact, see my single little fish today, my single little fish living in my pond, the hole I dug in the backyard and filled with cement. So my koi fish thing is still alive, happily. Up there you go. Sheila, Roger Moore, narrated Nutcracker, Barbara Bach, Ringo. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Not bad, not bad. Message redacted. I don't know what message redacted means. Damn it! I didn't even see that one coming. It didn't give me the warning. I'm just, again, my technical difficulties seem to get the best of me each one of these nights. Today is also Rock and Roll, Day of Rock and Roll. Which, again, sure, why not? That's great. Ringo Starr's birthday, Day of Rock and Roll. Perfect. It's also National Dive Bar Day. Now, I did dive into that one because I wanted to check in. Haha, dive bar, dive in. Guess what? It's a booze sponsored who made it up. Of course they did. Because that's what happens. So these things have to be sponsored by somebody. So it was a booze-sponsored Dive Bar Day. So I'm sure it was some promotion that they did. Now it's National Dive Bar Day. Sponsored by... Right. That's what I thought. It's also National Macaroni Day and National Strawberry Sundae Day. Sunday Day. Anyway, I did not get it to go to the Dairy Queen with the Tiki Bar. Dive Bar Day brought to you by PBR. It's not brought to you by PBR. That's the whole thing. It was brought to you by a booze company, like actual liquor. You would think it would be PBR or Rolling Rock. When I was growing up, PBR was, okay, Rolling Rock was really dive. But there was a brewery in PBR in Irvington, New Jersey, and they had a giant bottle you drove by, like a huge, like a smokestack bottle that you would drive by when you're going north on the Parkway. Near the Oranges, headed up toward Rutgers or the Oranges, you would see that. Mad Dog, right? MD 2020, that's who sponsors Dive Bar Day. Makes more sense to me. But Strawberry Sundae Day, I did not make it to DQ today to get the Tiki Bar tour, but I will tomorrow. I have a little bit of time tomorrow to go do that, and I'll get some sort of a sundae from Dairy Queen. And I was informed that Fudgy the Whale is from Carvel, and there's only one Carvel left in the state of Ohio, and it's in Beaver Creek, Ohio. I did not look to see where Beaver Creek was, but I think it's north of here, probably an hour or so away. So that may be a little too far to get to go. We talked about there was I think an Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips or something that's far away too. There's like one left in Ohio. We were talking about that. We talked about doing a Who Makes the Best Fried Mozzarella contest back in the day at the radio station. I found that Arby's is really good in the grand scheme of mozzarella sticks at fast food restaurants, mind you. This isn't from a reputable place by any sense of the word. But Arby's makes a good mozzarella stick. White Castle, not a bad mozzarella stick. I think it's just that you have to just heat it to the proper temperature. If it's not gooey enough, then it's kind of hard and it doesn't taste good. But they probably all come from the same store. I think it's just the sauce that they add maybe changes it a little bit. I'm not really 100% sure, but it's a mozzarella stick. It's basically gooey cheese with a crispy, oily outside and dipped into some crappy marinara sauce. So I don't really know. Beaver Creek is just southeast of Dayton. So that's where that is. Now we know where Beaver Creek is. So southeast. So it's probably an hour and a half away or an hour away. I don't know if we'll make it down there. Who knows? Tomorrow is National Raspberry Day. White Castle, where you go after Dive Bar Day. Correct. Or you go literally at the same day as Dive Bar Day. You go to White Castle. Tomorrow is National Raspberry Day. Cow Appreciation Day. I mean, do you appreciate your burgers and steaks? I guess. So I appreciate burgers and steaks. Thank you, cows. Appreciate milk. I know, I'm going to get yelled at by some vegetarian group. Sorry. It's National Appreciate Carrots Day. I like carrots too. I appreciate carrots. National Freezer Pop Day. Now, the freezer pop they're talking about is the long plastic tube of like purple, orange, green liquid that you freeze and then you cut the end off and squish it out in this, that is what they're talking about when it comes to Freezer Pop Day. That is an actual freezer pop. There was a couple of kids who had a chest freezer on a back of a pickup truck during the Judah parade, and they were throwing out by the hundreds, just like armloads of these things. Every time I drove by, I got pelted by them. But they were just winging these things out, these kids throwing out their freezer pops. So mom and dad must have had a special on freezer pops or something. They weren't boozy ones. We used to have boozy ones that were margarita. There was peach and raspberry and regular, but they were margarita freezer pops, pre-made, that we had, and I guess they were good. I didn't really try them, so I don't know, but apparently they were delicious. It's also National Chocolate Almonds Day, which I can get down with chocolate almonds. Chocolate raspberries, chocolate most anything. I've had chocolate covered ants. They were like Rice Krispies, if I remember correctly. They were literally like eating a Rice Krispie. They were just these little hollow, crunchy things that didn't really taste like much, but chocolate and crunchiness. So yes, I've had chocolate covered ants. They were, I imagine, deep fried, like I said, and they were like Rice Krispies. So I don't think I've had any other deep fried chocolate covered insects. I know I haven't had like grasshoppers or worms or anything of that nature, but I did have ants. They were fine, Lots of people, there's lots of protein in small little animals like that. So, I would eat a chocolate covered something else if someone gave it to me. And I'd be like, sure, I'll eat a chocolate covered bee, wasp, ant, whatever. I mean, how bad can it be, right? Take the stingers out or whatever poison they're so included. What are you going to say? When I was going back and looking at the Neil Young Cortez the Killer, I was listening to it. They were saying that it was like 7.5 minutes long, and because they blew a circuit on the amp, they never got the last verse. It kind of just faded, and Neil Young basically said, yeah, I hated that verse anyway, so he didn't really care. But if you go, I did find in Wikipedia, they have the last verse, so you can find it if you're really so inclined to care. That there was an actual last verse for it, which I found to be entertaining, that Neil Young didn't care. I did get to meet Neil Young. He was very nice. I think I've told this story before. He was drinking a Budweiser beer. And I think this is when that song, Bud's For You, came out, when he was talking about it. He had a guide that stood relatively close to him, within arm's distance of him. And every time someone, and this is before cell phones, so you had to sort of have your camera. Look, can we get a picture? This guy would be like, shoop, and he would take the beer out of his hand. So he never was in a picture with a beer in his hand, which was really kind of funny. But he had a dude that did it. That was his job. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I know that my audio is getting weird. I see it's flashing AFP, and I don't know why. That's kind of odd that it's doing that. Something's going on with my audio. I don't know why, and I'll try and get that repaired. I can maybe move my audio to a different channel. It's at 14. I'm going to move it to, let's see, let's go back this way. 14.1. There we go. Okay. So I worked on audio. I have no idea what's going on. I would go back to a normal microphone, but that didn't work either apparently. When I did that, it was crappy too. I can go back to a normal microphone. I've got it here just in case somewhere. And here, see look, I've got this microphone right here. So I can do this, and put this here, put that there, and put the windscreen there, so I don't have my poppiness. So let's try that. I'll go to this, I'll pull out. And now we're at this microphone. So not wireless. So I don't know if that's better or worse. Hopefully better. Okay, let's see if I can bring this up a little bit. See if I can bring that up a little bit. Hopefully that'll make it a little bit louder. It's got a little adjustment here. I don't know. See if that's helping. Maybe a little bit louder. I can see it's going up. But anyway, this is the non-wireless microphone. So I have to kind of like lean down and talk at it because it's one of those corded mics that's meant to be talked to really nice and close. So you have to be the whole rock star thing. It's not supposed to get a bunch of audio from other places. I will have to bring one of the studio microphones in and set it up then properly because this cordless thing is becoming annoying, to say the least, that I have to keep checking on it constantly to make sure that it's not screwing up. Technology at its finest. You know, this is supposed to be a really good setup. These Sennheisers are supposed to be good. I mean, designed in Germany, but then assembled in USA. So that tells you all you need to know. The Germans designed it, but we built it. What can I tell you? No distortion, but the volume is very low. They make a bomb pop flavored freezer pop. Wonder if the Little Store in Grove City has that. Wow, I don't know. Stoney's. I will definitely check with Stoney's to see if they have that, because that would be amazing to have a bomb pop freezer pop. Have not had a bomb pop freezer pop. I've had a bomb pop. I've had a freezer pop, but not the combination of the two. That would be amazing. All right, I'm going to just double check, make sure this microphone is good, my audio good, pointing at me. There we go. So if I'm talking, I'll kind of point my lips downward and talk like that, so my lips go down and point in that direction. I guess I'm going to have to give up on the cordless if it keeps screwing up, because it was working fine. Then it stopped working fine. It's starting to get worse. I put in new batteries. Maybe it doesn't like Energizer batteries. I had Duracell in there before that. It seemed fine. Put in the Energizer, and maybe they're too much for it. The bunny's in there running around and causing havoc. Speaking of bunnies, I saw one in the yard today. So I saw a bunny. So I guess there was more than one that was brutally murdered by a wolverine in the yard. Because, yes, there was a second bunny. I was like, oh, okay, so there's more than one. I mean, I know they're rabbits. They multiply, the whole rabbit joke. But I was concerned because, you know, Peter Rabbit definitely got, slaughtered. Someone definitely wasted him. Let's see, check your YouTube volume. Sounding very good to me, says Don. Okay, hopefully it's working. Hopefully the volume's good. I see it's my YouTube, it's showing it as frozen, so I can't even see the view, because it shows it's spinning, but it's showing the timestamp. Excellent connection. I have no idea what's going on down here tonight. This is all just too much for me. In my tiny little studio. See, here I am, down here. In my 7 foot by 8 foot space of a mess with laptop here and a laptop there, and here laptop, there laptop, everywhere laptop. Old Mick Randy had a studio, E-I-E-I-O. What can I say? I did go to check on the, let's see, turn it up on my end. It's better. The lavalier mic was up high and I had my volume down. Well, hopefully this will be better. I will go get a new microphone, new to me, tomorrow, and I'll see if I can get one of the remaining microphone stands that's not damaged. But it has like creaky noises. I was like, creaks. I will attach it and have a boom so I can have it, maybe I'll do it from the ceiling like Lemmy from, the Ace of Spades, and like yelling up at it. Maybe not. Possible. You never know. But I will go down and go get it. But I was down there and I did go look at the giant red ball again today. And concluded that, yes, I do want to try going inside of it, but I have to have someone with me. There's no way for me to do it myself. And even if I did, I cannot do it safely. So I will have to have someone that is a trusted partner in crime that's able to release me from said red ball at the appropriate time as to not die in there with my 119 feet of volume of air. The Todd said I'd have 3 to 4 hours. I, for some reason, feel like that would not be so. That's a generous amount of time. I don't know if I'd want to be inside that ball for 3 to 4 hours. I think, 3 to 4 minutes is probably pushing it. Because it's not like it's cushioned either. It's not like there's a giant cushion, of air around it. It's just this thin little layer of plastic. So walking, I imagine I would just walk and, feel the ground with it. But if I fell over, like, I ran and tripped, I'm going to pretty much hit the ground. It's not like I'm going to be protected or in any way cushioned from my fall. That would be something to consider while being inside this thing. Especially if I try and take a camera with me inside the ball. And I don't know. It's not like one of those ones like the orbs that you go rolling down the hills in, because again, this would be just me rolling down a hill. So, rocks and things would be smashing into my spine and everything else. So I don't know if I'd want to do that. That's what I said. I think this thing is more meant for running across crowds or maybe water or the beach or a soft grassy area. I don't think it's going to be designed for doing something that would be too damaging. Let's put it that way. So my view of the studio broadcast is frozen, and I don't know where it froze at, but it's showing all sorts of weird numbers. 27:56 is live, but then it shows 28:33 / an hour 17:53 at the bottom. Hit play. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with this thing today. It's all weird on my ends. But as long as this works for you, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine. That works just fine. Going back to this. So this guy, him, me. I still have not conclusively found. Well, I guess I already put copyrighted things up. I just thought about that. If I just put some of these pictures I put up were Getty images or whatever that I just stole off the web and put up here, so I possibly just copyright violations already by putting up somebody else's pictures. I'm not profiting from them in any way, shape, or form, am I? I don't know. We'll have to see. If I get dinged by YouTube, I'll know why. But I was going to try and download the episodes so I can post them, and it looks like I have to have a paid subscription to do it or use some sort of a inside hack to get to it. I was reading how to download YouTube videos, and there's all sorts of things I'd have to install, all these installers and things to download, so I was really not keen on doing that. And then if I want to pay $19.99 a month or whatever, so like $170 a year, I can download it. I'm like, well, I don't know if there's any value in doing that. So I have not done that either. So I don't have the ability to download videos. So you have to watch them then. To actually see this, you have to download it or you have to watch it yourself on YouTube. And I'm assuming they'll keep them up there, unless they find it to be horrendous and take the whole series down. But I'm hoping that they want to do more of these. They decide to pick it up and say, hey, let's do season 2. And we can pick other cities to go to and do more of these fun things. But that's entirely up to Heinz. No. Anyway, we will definitely find out what's going on with that one when that time occurs. The 7th of July, which to me is kind of weird that it's already here. But tomorrow's Tuesday, and I only know this because today was a work day for the world again. I had to go down to the bank today, and I have to deal with the city in 10 days. So that's how I know everything now revolves around the 17th. Now, supposedly, now if today's the 7th, so 8th, 9th, 10th, so the 10th is Thursday. If that's episode 7, then 7 days later is the 17th, so that would be episode 8. So I guess originally they were talking about doing on the 17th a showing of the entire series and the final episode at the Gateway Film Center. But if my calculations are correct, that can't happen now because the 17th is episode 8. And then if you add 7 more days to that, that would be the 23rd. So July 23rd would be the final episode unless they have a delay in there again. And I think that's what happened. There was that rain delay where they had that 1 week that wasn't that. Now the 17th is 1, my meeting with the city. 2, it's also the beginning of the Jazz and Rib Festival. So I did get the call, and I am going to be the bar supervisor at the Jazz and Rib Festival for all of the bars. So I'll be in charge of like 42 people for all the bars for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, those are going to have to be, those will get weird again because I work till like 11 o'clock at night at least, like way late. Those are 7 a.m. in the morning till like midnight. Those are full ass days. And Sunday, the closing is like 7 o'clock in the morning till like 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's a long ass day. But I will obviously not be able to do the normal broadcast because there's no way I can take those equipment down there in my little golf cart and do that. I'll do some filming and I'll have to do something and figure out if I can maybe do the show because just the quality of the laptop was kind of crappy if I remember from when I was doing it in Cleveland. I'll have to figure out what's the best day. Who played some Watershed 2 days ago? Easier for us to visit information. Yes and yes. Today is the 7th. Who played some Watershed 2 days ago? I don't know. What did I miss? What was 2 days ago with Watershed? Was that the show? Sorry, missed it. Was they did a show at the somewhere? My bad. Apparently. Yeah, I don't know about the YouTube permission. They might just get pissed. I think they give you dings and strikes and everything else, and then they don't let you live broadcast, or they take away your cookies. I don't know. It's YouTube. Who knows what they're going to do? They can be punitive, to say the very least, with their copyright issues, to downright arbitrary, because I don't know how that works. We will find out, though, won't we? We certainly will. In some cases, they'll shut down your channel and you can't get it back. Oh, that would be just great. Let's not do that. I would not like to lose the X amount of thousands of videos that the radio station had up forever for doing something that I did not intentionally mean to do. That would be great. Full ass days or full ass days. Punctuation is important. Right, yes. That is, punctuation is important. I'll have to give you my little punctuation. I don't know. How do we have punctuation in speech? Is that pauses? Then we go again? Are we William Shatnering it? I can't believe that I have to explain how punctuation works. Or that I am being explained how punctuation works. I mean, I don't know. Try my best. I only have an English degree. I just don't apparently use it anymore. I've lost all ability and sense of time when it comes to that. Don't know why. I can only imagine the reason that I'm having this horrible connection is because I'm live on both episode 8 and episode 37 at the exact same time. Because I don't see my output. Normally I can see the output of this, but I'm not seeing the output. Don't know what that means. That's just how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. So this week is a normal week as far as I know. I am going to try and go to the Tiki Bar Dairy Queen tomorrow. And I am going to try and work on my editing skills to get some more editing done by doing that. Excuse me. Oh, wow, I needed the dump button. A yawn. That was terrible. I apologize. I did not sleep well. And I did wake up on the couch. Remember I said I would do that? I did. I woke up on the damn couch at 5 o'clock in the morning with the TV still on. I forget what I watched last night. Something that was dumb. It was not great. It was not Heads of State, which was not terrible. But I watched something that was... Oh, it had Christopher Walken. What was it? Some art theft movie. It was a little bit older. It was all right. Morgan Freeman, Christopher Walken, and Edward Macy, I think. Yeah, it was okay. It was kind of funny. I guess. Like I said, I fell asleep. I have no idea. I just hit the couch and kind of watched a little TV, and that's where I fell asleep. And woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning on the couch this morning. So that was just fantastic. Just what I really wanted. Waking up on the couch once again. So I wonder why I feel like I went, 3 rounds with Tyson the night before, because I'm sleeping on the damn couch. That's why. Okay? It's not great. Oh. I'm like, what is in my pocket? Apparently a piece of paper that I need to have so I can go deal with banking things. The Maiden Heist. Yes, The Maiden Heist. That's what it was called. See? Don knows. The 5th of July. Recognize that song? Yes, I do recognize that song. But that was 2 days ago. Right. Now I get it, Todd. Okay. You could have brought that up 2 days ago? No. Is there a listener watershed tonight because it's the 5th of July? I digress. What do I know? Yes. Love me a good heist movie. That was it. That was a pretty good movie. It was okay. It was kind of funny. Like I said, kind of fell asleep. Wasn't really William H. Macy. That's who it is, right? William H. Macy. I think that's who it was. The guy was in Fargo, which is an awesome movie. So yes, William H. Macy. Yep, that's what Don says. But yes, The Maiden Heist. It was right. It was from some years back. Christopher Walken is, who doesn't love Christopher Walken? He's great in everything. He was in some movie that I saw not too long ago. It's a fairly recent movie, so he's definitely much older. I have no idea how old Walken is at this point. He's definitely getting up there in years. Probably 80, maybe 80 years old. I don't know. The Maiden Heist. Yes, you saw it too, apparently. Yeah, he's 82 years old, I guess, is how old Christopher Walken is. But who doesn't love Christopher Walken? He's a great actor. Lots of good movies he's been in, so it's a beautiful thing. I am going to, because this is really, really making me crazy because I can't see what I'm broadcasting. And I don't have anything new to discuss at the moment because today was a Monday and it was a long weekend and it was really hot and sweaty today. And we had crazy, crazy rain and thunderstorms today that I was not ready for. So I was outside, I got wet and then got steamy and then got wet again and then got dry and then got wet and, not great. That's what happens. It is summer where you get storms. What are you going to say? We'll leave it at that, though, because storms were not great, apparently, in other parts of the world. I've read some pretty horrible things. So, storms. What are you going to do? that's where we're going to leave that. We'll leave it on that crazy note. We also could leave it on this crazy note if we go through and go back to the eye bombing, because that is what I'm going to leave us with, is the eye bombing. The happy little eyes on a rock. That was at Columbus Architectural Salvage. That is the name of it. Columbus Architectural Salvage. So if you ever are looking for a old door or window or mantle or anything that's architecturally made for older homes, houses that were built in the 19-somethings to probably the 60s or 70s, they've got the doors. They've got some crazy cool old stuff in there. Little things for like dentilation and I don't know, sconce things for peaks of houses and lots of cool stuff. I shop there fairly regularly to buy things to fix and match houses that have those features that they want to keep semi-original. Not cheap, not going to lie, but that's what you're going to get if you're going to have a older home and you want to maintain it to make it look like what it is. There are some cool craftsmen in Grandview Heights, these craftsman homes. And there's some very cool Victorians in Columbus that have just been restored, and others that have been neglected and, just wrecked over the years. But that's the way it works with old houses. Either you have to be adept at fixing it yourself, or you need to have a lot of money to pay someone to do it, because that stuff is expensive. But that's the way it works. On that note, I thought about finding a closing for this. Still haven't found it yet, but I will. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this. I think I'm at like almost 600. Yay. Not there yet. I was looking at the wrong camera. This is the camera. This, like and subscribe. Almost at 600. Yay. Back to this. Oh, and now it dies. So literally I'll just end it on this camera because I don't feel like reaching over and turning it back on again. It's just too damn annoying at this point. At this late juncture in the evening, it's just too damn annoying. And he was in That's Amore recently. I think that's what it was. That's Amore. That was with the Christopher Walken movie. Yes, he definitely looks a little bit older, but it's still Christopher Walken. Loved him when he did the Continental and Saturday Night Live. Would you like some champagne? You lost your glove. Oh, Christopher. So, Christopher Walken. What was the movie that he was in that's maybe from the 70s or something? I don't know. There's a lot of them. I can't remember. My brain's shot. Like I said, got no sleep, woke up on the couch. That's the way it works. Anywho, I will bid you a fond and farewell for this evening. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. I appreciate you all for hanging out, stopping in, checking on the ridiculousness that is Randsanity, trying to get this honed into what exactly it's going to be. I almost had my friend Adam do an interview with me. Almost, but he is headed back to L.A. To go continue his quest for immortality with Raiders Virtual Presence. So again, look for that when you see any of these sports tickers. If you ever see it say Pete Carroll Virtual Presence or Raiders Virtual Presence, wait for that story and see what they say, because I'd love to hear about it if I don't hear about it first, because that's going to be a cool thing. So we will find out for sure. Anyway, have a good rest of your Monday, all 14 minutes of it. And tomorrow we will do this again, but completely differently, because every day is different. So be good to each other. Do kind things to other people, because everyone is just so shitty these days. Pardon my French. Adieu, mon ami. Thank you. Fade to black.